All right, guys, so ignore assignment 18. We're going to go a little bit out of order only because of our new learning profile. So what I want you guys to learn from this assignment is that the different views of an object. So this one has a plan view. You could also consider that looking from the top, and has an elevation view, and that's from the side. Now, sometimes you'll also get a front view as well in some of yours, but these two are just showing you the beginning stages. So top view, your footprint, and elevation, your side. This over here is considered your isometric view. If you haven't already seen or know that, it is giving you a three-dimensional view of the output, the final product. Okay, so what you need to look at when you start this is your plan view. I want you to start from 2D. So when you start from 2D, you'll look at this and start to decipher what simple shapes you can use to recreate the object. So in this footprint, if you look, you can recreate a rectangle here, okay? You have the length here, 60, and you have the width here, okay? It would be 9 plus 12 plus another 9. It's a symmetrical entity, so it's going to be another 9 over here. So if you added 9 plus 12, you come up with 30. So your basic shape here is going to be a 60 by 30 rectangle. Okay, so let's go ahead and start that, and then we will go through recreating this object. Okay, now let's go ahead and put it in our standard view. And I'm just going to move that guy over there. So to begin, we want to make that rectangle. So I'm going to put myself back into drafting and annotation to make it simple to work in 2D. And I'm going to pick my rectangle tool, okay? And I'm going to make a rectangle that is, that is 60 by 30. Okay, and I made it in the incorrect orientation for my own benefit. I'm going to rotate it. Okay, so here's my rectangle. So now I need to make this arc on this one side. If you look at the image, you have an arc here, okay, and you have an inner circle. And if you look at the isometric, you have a hole, which is that inner circle, and then this back arc. Okay, so we need to recreate that. So if you look at your diagram here, you have a 15 diameter circle and then a 30 diameter circle here. Okay, so to recreate that, you can do it one of two ways. You can come in with this circle, and on the midpoint of this back line, recreate your 15 circle, and that 15 circle is 15 divided by 2 because what they're giving you is diameter. Okay, and then for your other circle, you could either create a circle from that same center point, or you can choose a different way to make your circle and just do a 2-point, okay? Because the circle intersects at these two lines, you can just utilize this shape, the 30 width here, to delineate the diameter of this circle, okay? Otherwise, you can just use the circle in the diameter or the radius mode and recreate that arc. Okay, so now if you look at your figure, you can see that you really only need the one side of the arc, the left side, and that circle. So you're going to come in and you're going to use your trim tool, okay, to select your rectangle. Once you select that, you should be able to delete the other. Remember, you'll pick your cutting edge, enter, and then you'll trim, okay? Then the other thing you don't need is this line here, okay? So I'm actually going to explode my rectangle, okay, because I actually want this line. Now, the reason I want this line is because if I look here, I have a line that is 30 long, but 18 from the center of the circle. And since it's 18 from the center of the circle, I'm actually just going to move it. I'll grab it from the center, okay? I'll make sure my orthogonal's on, and I'll move it 18. So now what I have is my inner circle, my outer arch, and then that next 18 line. Okay, so the next thing I need to make on this footprint are these two chamfered edges. Okay, so think back to your chamfer tool. It's underneath fillet up here at the top, and you'll hit chamfer. Now, if you look at your image, okay, it's equidistant, equally cut back on the width, equally cut back on the length. Okay, so you can just put 9 in both of those and create the 45 degree you need. So mine already says 9. So you hit 9, enter, okay? And then hit your lines. So then you'll go 1, 2, right click to reactivate, 1, 2, and done. Okay, so we have our preliminary footprint. Okay, so from here, rather than create this wedge, okay, I'm going to pull these up. Okay, so in our last assignment, we went over the press pull tool. Now we could join all of these entities and do extrude, okay, but the easiest way, in my opinion, to do it would be to do press pull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press pull my, I want both of them to highlight, okay, my back arced portion, and I'm going to look at my elevation, and it is 30. Okay, so that's how high I want that piece. And then I'll go down here, okay, and I want that one to be 9. Okay, now you may run into an issue where you do press pull on the foot here, and it will not pull this one, or you'll press pull this one, it won't pull that one. It's because now it doesn't realize that you have a bottom line here that's demarking the boundary. So you may have to throw in a 2D line just to make sure that happens for you. If it's not, it doesn't happen, then you did it in the correct order and it's not confused. Okay. If you do it in a different order, you may have to throw in that 2D line. So don't forget about that. Okay. And what I mean by that is if I go into wireframe for you, this line down here, okay, it needs to have a boundary. So if you pull up one of these 3D entities and this boundary is no longer seen by the computer, it won't pull, it won't do a press pull on it. You'll need to put in another line, okay? So the next thing we need to make, because now we have our main entity, okay, is the wedge, okay? You can do it multiple ways. You could draw your line to the back of this piece. You could draw it up at an angle, join it all, and extrude it across plane, okay? But doing that, you will have to change your coordinates, okay? Not hard to do. I know you all know how to do it, but you would have to change your coordinates. The easiest way to do it would be to determine your different heights. That looks kind of funky now, okay? Your different heights that you need to make things, your different widths. So I don't work with wedge that often, but we'll do our first corner. Now, when you look at it, it's going to give you an indication of what's height, what's length and what's width. Okay, so you see that I've pulled it really long so you can see the 80. That is going to be your longest portion. So that's going to be the foot part. Okay, so 42 is what I determined what that would be. And then, see, I messed up too. I didn't mean to press enter. So I'm going to tab back and I want 42 tab. So I don't forget anything. And then the width of it's 7. And then it should pull up. And look, I screwed it up. Okay. But I'm just going to go in my properties and fix it. Because it didn't do what I wanted it to do. My length is fine, but I think it messed up these two. Or maybe I'm completely wrong. And this should be my 7. And then I'm going to pull this guy up. And I'm going to want him to be 21. Aye. See, you guys aren't all the only ones that don't like wedge. Okay, that should be what I need. It doesn't look like it though, does it? We're going to find out. I'm going to move it into place. And I'm going to put it right here on the end of this. Okay, if I look at it, right there. Okay, and then I'll do a 3D rotate. Okay, but I want to rotate it around this point. Okay, and then remember, how do I want to rotate it? Okay, see the axis is throwing up. Okay, so we want it to go 90. Maybe not in that direction. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so it doesn't always do exactly what I want it to do because I'm not telling it to do it the right way. So I have the cube or the cube, the object. Okay, so here it is. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna tell you to do is once you've created it, okay, all of it, make it a union. Okay, so that way when you come over here and do your materials, you won't have to worry about selecting all of them. Now, if you want the wedge to be a different color from the rest of the body, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. But just make sure that you do finish out with an environment with your shape in it. Now, for this assignment, I want to see it with materials. Okay. And I want it to be two different submittals. So you'll submit your drawing and you'll submit your rendering. So you have two submittals this week. One will be your drawing and then the other will be your rendering. Now, just to remind you, okay, when you do your rendering, hit your visualize tab, hit render. Okay, so it'll render it. And then once it finishes it, you'll hit this save button and then name it, save it somewhere where you're happy with it. And then you'll submit that as a second file. Okay, I hope that helps you guys. And you can kind of gather what you need from this. If not, please let me know and help me help you, I guess.